Interoperability Communication System Board for June 11th. Holly, would you please call roll?
Yes. Luke Erpelding.
Luke Erpelding, representing Communication Centers.
Curtis Wilton.
Present, representing EMS.
Michelle Bischoff.
Present, representing fire departments.
Michael Colby.
Present.
Oh. Jeff Vanderwater.
Present, representing Sheriff's Office.
Patrick Updike.
Present, member at large.
And do we have any legislative members present?
Senator.
And we do have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Senator Green. Appreciate the time. I will entertain a motion for today's agenda.
Vandewater would motion to approve today's agenda.
And is there a
Colby will
second?
second.
I have
Colby
a
will
motion
second.
and I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Our next item is approval of the meeting minutes from May 14th. I would entertain a motion.
Vote on the motion.
And a second.
Erpelding will second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes of our May 14th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That brings us to the SWIC report. SWIC Nichols.
Thank you, Chair Bischoff. Good morning, everybody. Update on the monthly trainings that I've been providing. June is for GETS and WPS, Government Emergency Cell Phone Service, Wireless Priority Service. I can present those in the RIC meetings, at the supervisor group meetings, and to anyone who would like those. We attended an after-action review for the Cooperative Burn Week. It was an overwhelmingly positive response from the fire partners who would like to continue that collaboration. We had a good response from all of our participants as well. The event gives Iowa opportunities to meet SCIP goals for professional level training for those who experience it. And as seen by our list of credentials later in the meeting, it gives the opportunity to get PTBs signed off. Work in Isicsb board committee meetings continues on standard review and renewal. Cross-spectrum interop is a standard that we've been looking at in a couple of different meetings, and how we might tie that into the draft broadband push-to-talk policy that has we've been trying to start. There are reminder that there are, I think, 7 standards currently up for a 60-day comment period. The comment page has been updated to the statewide public comment page. That's a very user-friendly website and makes it super simple to see how long is left on those standards. We've got 34 days left in the comment period. Quick update on IMED or MCDP Region 1 ambulances have the talk groups and radios implemented, working on deployment of WAVE in the hospitals, an application that provides the Isicsb system over the LTE network. The period of performance for that ends September 28th of this year. Still waiting to scope the TA request for INTD. Dates have not been determined, but Carroll County has agreed to host that. I forgot to mention it in the last meeting, but there has been a request for a COM-L class, and I will work with our state instructors and ECC Myers to see when and how we might be able to present that in the state of Iowa and then bring that back to the board for a request. And last thing, I think Chris will mention as well, but I wanted to mention that the Central States ComEx will be hosted in Hot Springs, Arkansas this year. The venue has changed. Registration should open soon, but our state was represented there in 2024, and it was a really great opportunity for those who went. If you can get there or send some of your folks, I highly encourage it. And that's my report for the month, unless there's any questions for me.
Great. Thank you, Swick Nichols. Are there any questions for the Swick? Great. Thank you, Haley. That brings us to the 911 Council Report. Program Manager Darushi.
All right, at the 911 council meeting just before this, we went over the normal kind of technical upgrades that the network is going over. If you're interested in that, I would go back and watch. The meeting will be up on YouTube here shortly. A couple other things, we did approve a NINA Center Training Officer course that Jasper County is holding in August, along with a 12-month renewal of the online learning management system that we've had in place for a couple of years now. The other item that I will bring up that I think may be relevant is we've had the capability of doing text to 911 transfers in the state for some time now. Admittedly, it's probably been a while since we've sent out a reminder on that and the technical methodology that you need to actually be able to do that. So if that is news to anyone that works out of a public safety answering point, or you want some more information on how you technically transfer a text to 911, please reach out to me and I will get you that information. That will conclude my update for the month.
Great. Thank you. Are there any questions for Program Manager Darushi? Great. Thank you, Blake. That brings us to the User Group Committee. Chair Vandewater.
Thank you. The users group met on May 21st with 9 members present. With a brief RIC report from RIC 1, and then we reviewed one application which will be addressed later under the new business heading of this meeting. Short and sweet. That concludes my report and would take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Are there any questions for the User Group Committee and Chair Vandewater? That brings us to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, and we reviewed the financials for April and May, and no issues were found. I will note that the board is yet to receive its payment from the DOT that offsets part of the salaries of the staff. So that is the reason for the reduced expenditures, because those salary expenses are being coded somewhere else in the budget until those funds are received from the DOT, and then they'll make it all right. But the employees are still getting paid, have no fear. Are there any questions regarding the financials? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the Governance Committee. Chair Colby.
Good morning to everybody. I was not able to attend the meeting on June 1st. The meeting was run by Vice Chair Brad Button. I'm not sure if he's on here or not. I can talk about the agenda items, which they reviewed standard 1.1.0, the cross-spectrum interoperability, the push-to-talk policy, and combining those two policies there. But if Swick Nichols has any additional information on the details, I would refer to her or Mr. Button if he is online today, but I don't see him on there in my list.
Okay, thank you, Chair Colby. And that is what we discussed. 1.1.0 is it's a technology standard. So they just reviewed that standard versus the current draft policy of broadband push to talk, and governance agreed that it might work to just make the one standard cover the language in the policy. So they sent it back to technology.
Excellent. Are there any questions for governance? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Swick. That brings us to the Operations Committee and Chair Erpelding.
Good morning. I was unable to attend their most recent operations meeting. Swick Nichols was in attendance and has agreed to give the report for today.
Thank you, Chair Erpelding. They reviewed 2.4.0 on schedule, just insignificant changes. There was an added specified timeline to the report of any subsystem administrators to contact and give those changes to our Isicsb system administrators. And the time period was determined to be 24 hours. So that is the only update for that one. That standard does indicate that system administrators will be responsible for meetings with subsystem administrators, those with level 3 or 4 users. And it says periodically, and the purpose would be to review operations of the system and share ideas or issues with representative subsystems that may be of interest to other subsystem administrators. There was a lot of discussion on how that meeting would be beneficial if we implemented it or picked it back up from whenever the last time it was held. Holly and I will work to coordinate that meeting. It'll be in person with a virtual option, probably in the fall. The cadence of the meeting will then be determined from that group. That's the end of that report.
Great. Are there any questions for operations? Great. Thank you, Swick, and thank you, Luke. That brings us to training and outreach. Chair Wooten.
Thank you, Chair. A continued discussion on 2.7.0, the training radio communicators. And finished that discussion up with no significant changes to it. And we also went over and discussed some of the training that Haley will be doing on the WPS and GETS. And that concluded our meeting. And that will conclude my report.
Very well, thank you. Are there any questions for training and outreach? Great, thank you, Curtis. That brings us to the ComU Credentialing Subcommittee and Deputy Swick Walzer.
Thank you, Chair. We met and actually had a few of them on the board here. Ronald Clark, INTD with Polk County. Brenda Amber, INTD at Des Moines PD. Jessica Sinning, DPS Storm Lake. Danielle Mooreshead, INTD with Polk County. Christopher Martin, ComL, DPS Des Moines, and Brenda Amber, ComL, Des Moines PD were the ones that were approved.
Excellent, and we will be awarding those certificates under our new business. Is there anything else, Wally?
Nope, that concludes my report.
Very well, thank you. Are there any questions for the credentialing subcommittee? Very well, that brings us to technology. Chair Updike.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Technology met on May 28th and June 4. We've had multiple discussions about standard 3.10.0. 3.10.0 is outgroup and radio user priority. A lot of back and forth about some of the technical things as it relates to talk group and radio user priority. After all of those discussions and hashing through the details of this, because we thought we were going to make some big changes, we decided to just leave it as is. And we did change one word in that standard in the constraints portion that says all user priorities shall be set to 10. And so that just means that every user out there, their priority level on their unit is at 10. So it's not like you're 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Everybody's set at 10, and then the priority levels are already set within the talk group. So we just decided that it wasn't worthy of any time to try to change something that's already been working. So pretty much went back in the pool with one word being changed. And so with that, we ended up moving on to standard 4.1.0, which is outage responsibility. And this just basically says what the system administrators and subsystem administrators are responsible for during outages. there's no need to change any wording in that because an outage is an outage and you know what you're supposed to do. So we just put that one back in the pool as well. Moving on, we went to standards 4.7.0, which is equipment configuration information. Really all we did with this was we removed some of the duplicate wording that showed up in the appendix part of this document. So not really any huge change. I don't know, Haley, do you want to comment on that? And then I'll move on to the next item.
No, you covered it. No significant changes were made.
Okay, good enough. So the next thing that we're working on is the draft policy that came out of governance. And we're also looking at standard 1.10.0, which is cross-spectrum interoperability. So the draft policy was addressing ROIP and LTE type connections into the Isicsb system. Governance was looking at 1.10.0 and thought that there was some similarities there. So what we want to do is try to take the draft policy and mesh it in with 1.10.0. One of the things that came up is any non-user devices that attempt to connect to the Isicsb system. We thought it was a good idea to put wording in there that says that if you're a non-Isicsb user, you're going to have to go through user group committee approval to cross-connect those devices into Isicsb. So once this is all done, we'll push it out there, let everybody look at it. I'm sure it'll go through a 30-day comment and we'll see what kind of response we get. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for the Technology Committee? Great, thank you, Patrick. That brings us to the FirstNet Broadband Subcommittee. Swick Nichols.
FirstNet met on, let me get the date here, June 9th. The new ATT representative, Carol O'Donnell, was online. I think everyone knows now that Bart has moved on. There was good discussion. First thing we talked about was the upcoming coverage workshop. That will happen on August 11th. That'll be in person at DPS. There will be a virtual option, but some of the maps and things that are shown in the room will not be shown virtually. So if you can attend in person, please do. Next month, they'll talk about that survey tool that Tom Lampy puts out and explain how it works. And then also there was a request and some discussion on how they could explain the difference in the way the cell network routes calls versus the way an LMR network works. So that will be beneficial. And there was some discussion on Hubie devices, and also there was a request that FirstNet work with AT&T and take up some of the concerns to them that we have or others have about subscriber-based pricing versus agency-based pricing. And that's the report.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for the FirstNet Broadband Subcommittee? Hearing none, thank you, Swick Nichols, for your report. That brings us to other reports and information sharing among board members. Do any board members have information that they'd like to share with other board members? I have one item. It's an update to a previous information sharing. A few months back, I had made the board aware that we had received a request for waiver from the Owine Police Department. That request has been fully executed. There's been many conversations had, and at the end of the day, it was deemed that the request for waiver did not meet the requirements and therefore will not be coming to the board for consideration. The SWIC and others are continuing to work with Fayette County and Owine to improve their communications issues. and seeking all solutions that are local to that community. They'll continue on that and hopefully make that situation better. But the waiver will not come forward. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to share any more information that you'd like to know about that situation, or the SWIC. Either of us can address it. Are there any questions regarding that matter?
That's Mike Colby. I read through your response letter. I think it was appropriately worded, and I appreciate the time that was spent on that by Swick Nichols and the other board members that were involved with that too. So I do appreciate the work that went into that.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was a considerable amount of work, and the work continues. And hopefully that situation, they can resolve it and make it better for all. Are there any other questions? That brings us to the Isicsb System Administrator report. Scott or Al?
This is Scott. Thank you, Chair. I'll begin with the Isicsb maintenance update. Isicsb quarterly core security patching was completed on June 2nd with a minor delay on the Zone 2 rollback. That was due to a software upgrade time for that zone. Juniper router upgrades are ongoing at tower sites, with the most recent being the mobile command vehicle, which was completed on Tuesday of this week. Also, our annual RFPMs have begun. Warren simulcast has been completed. The Des Moines simulcast is in progress. About half of that was done this week. The remainder to follow in the next 2 weeks. And finally, DPS has contracted with LumenServe to replace some tower lighting on 11 DPS legacy tower sites that were using some older incandescent lighting. Those sites have now been upgraded. The lighting system's now modern LED lighting, with the vendor providing all maintenance, inspection, and documentation. And beyond that, I've got numbers for May of 26. Our radios currently stand at 48,910. Talk groups are at 3,655. And we had just over 3.4 million push to talks on the system last month. With that will conclude my report.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for our system administrators? Hearing none, thank you, Scott. That brings us to the FirstNet Authority, Tom Lampy.
Sure. Like Haley reported, we do have the coverage workshop coming in August. I will tell you that I was just on a phone call for updating on the sites that you submitted, top 5. Those are in the queue. They're on, some are under engineering analysis, and some are under contract, and some are under consideration. So we're going to go over all of that in August. And the good news is that there's more money now, additional money that we weren't expecting. So we will be doing a lot more, or I will be asking you for a lot more. You'll probably get sick of me by the time I'm asking you this, but it's for a good cause, is I'll need some more priorities on the next batch sooner than we thought. So we'll talk about that in August. And then the next quarter of fiscal year 28, which will start in September, I'll come back again in the spring, and we'll ask for more priorities. So we're really moving along quickly with getting this money into contract phase with building sites in Iowa. So moving along a lot faster than we anticipated, which is a good thing. And we're doing that for all the states. So we're really ramping up we may do a couple coverage workshops or mini ones, or I'll be asking you for a lot of information. So it's very important that we look at what we submitted. You already got the top 5 in. Take a look at some of the others, and we'll probably talk about prioritizing 5 more, and then 5 more again. So keep that in mind. So it's very important, if that survey tool is out there. I can send you the link again, and Haley, you should have it, the updated one. Get that sent out again and keep on sending it until we get this taken care of. Anything, and you can submit a survey, one per coverage area, so you can submit as many as you want. It'll come to me, I'll take a look at it, and then it'll be put into consideration. We'll talk about it during CEW. We'll ask about priorities, and we'll get you going. Other than that, I'll be gone most of the month of June down in Kansas City for the FIFA World Cup in the Emergency Operations Center, but I will have my phone and laptop, so I'll be available if you need anything in regards to any kind of questions you need answered. I'll be having the FirstNet truck. That we have a truck, two of them, one's in Reston and there's one in Boulder, that we purchased for not only for demonstrating what we have in the vehicle, but we have all kinds of technology in the vehicle. As we drive, it captures coverage. We're gonna have a mini CRD in there. We'll have a full rack with push to talk radios. So I'll have that, and my first use of it will be in reg drive. So I'll be floating around in the overnights and maybe some along the route, demonstrating that vehicle and showing capabilities, not only push to talk, but the mini CRD and how we can move coverage as we move through across the Iowa. I'll have it again then for the Farm Progress Show. I'll have it for the fair. So it'll be around a lot. And my goal is to get one stationed in Iowa, so we have one here for use. So that's my report from the authority. Any questions? I'll take them.
Great, thank you, Tom. Are there any questions for the authority? That brings us to AT&T update. Is anyone from AT&T on the line? That brings us then to the CISA update. Chris Myers.
Good morning, and thank you, Chair Bischoff. Appreciate the time as always. So the report this month is going to be a little tech heavy, but it is going to be covering things that potentially directly touch multiple systems you guys use for communications. The first cyber advisory covers programmable logic controllers. And this is maybe something you may not have heard of before, but PLCs, as they're known in short, are used in a lot of different types of infrastructure. You can program them to do all sorts of stuff, whether it's monitor data, relay data, turn things on or off, or any number of things. The issue here is that Iranian-affiliated advanced threat actors are targeting these now, especially the ones that are internet-facing that are connected to systems. You may ask, why is this important? Well, they have the ability, if they compromise one of these, to access live data, manipulate it, do all sorts of things. They can turn off or on electronic switches. And of course, this can cause all sorts of disruptions, losses of functionality, downtime, and other bad things that could happen. What you can do is first establish an inventory of how many PLCs you have in your systems, and then make the decision. Do they need the internet or do they not? Limit internet connections where you can. You can limit internet connections where you can, but for those that you can't, you can make sure that everything is updated on the firmware and software controls. Make sure that if someone is going to get access to those PLCs, that you have proper authentication processes baked into it, such as multi-factor authentication, blocking specific outside ports that it doesn't need to function. And then, of course, some of them actually have the ability to limit the modifications that can be made to them. As an example, some of them have physical switches that if you flip them one way, you eliminate the ability for them to be modified remotely. Maybe the best case scenario for your system. Again, this also comes down to understanding what normal traffic looks like on your OT networks, who typically accesses these things and why they need access to them, and what they may do when they have access. A lot of that information is going to be inside of your system logs, and of course, make sure that you are reviewing them regularly, looking for information on who's logging into your stuff, what they're doing, what they're changing, and when they did it. Of course, there's other practices as well that you can implement, such as don't share passwords or accounts, but these PLCs are in a whole lot of stuff. And a lot of times it's one of those set it and then forget it type of things until it breaks. So you may not necessarily know all of them that are in your systems today. This is available on our website. This is at the TLP clear level, so it is designed for broad distribution. Again, it's a little tech heavy, but these PLCs are in a whole lot of infrastructure that's out there today. Next slide, we have something that directly affects a lot of PSAPs, communication systems, and everything else that uses a generator, especially one that operates on fuels such as diesel or propane. We are now seeing actual instances of malicious actors targeting US-based automatic tank gauge systems. So think of the things that monitor how full your tanks actually are. This is important because those tank gauges have an assortment of uses. They range from industrial and chemical processes down to fuel monitoring. In this case, it has been demonstrated that threat actors may have the ability to alter data and disable system alerts. So think about it this way. Your generators will typically run on a monthly test. They may run during some outages, and you rely on those remote gauges to tell you when it needs to be fueled again. In that case, they could disable system alerts that say, hey, this tank needs to be fueled, and just make it read 80% all the time, and then you just forget about it. Be aware that this is happening, and anywhere you have a generator, you may find one of these tank gauge monitors. Again, very similar mitigation steps to the PLCs. Limit or eliminate internet exposure. Apply patches and enforce credential security. Make sure you know who is trying to get into these things and what they're doing with them. Then, of course, coordinate with service providers. There may be updated infrastructure or hardware you can apply to this to fortify these. But this does come down to, if you have an expansive network, what level of convenience do you want for monitoring versus the type of risk you're willing to accept for exposing these things to the internet. This is available on our website as well for download. It is, again, a little bit more of a technologically heavy read, but this has broad application. Think about everything that uses a generator inside of your infrastructure, and it's probably a lot. Next slide, we have a new document out from SafeCom and NICSWIC. This is swatting and fraudulent call processes for admins. It's been well known for a long time that we have malicious actors that are trying to disrupt PSAPs through all sorts of methods, especially swatting for fake emergencies or just flooding call lines with excess calls that don't mean anything. Mitigation steps in this document include how to implement stir, shake, and protocols, implementing new technology with voice biometrics, other types of caller authentication tools, and of course, best practices for training public safety telecommunicators, working with service providers, and how to stay engaged on all sorts of guidance to help prevent swatting and other issues with fake calls. This is available on our website. It's designed for broad distribution as well, but this is a very good read. And this is certainly something that is geared towards your administrative personnel within your PSAPs, but this has broad applicability as well for other items as well where you may take calls. Lastly, regional news of note, FIFA World Cup 26 has begun. Of course, that's in Kansas City, and we have several base camps located throughout the Midwest. Like Tom, I'll be down in Kansas City a whole lot during the month of June and July, but I will have my stuff on me. A lot of my shifts tend to be in the afternoon, so I will be freely available in the morning as well, even if I am remote from here. We are working with other states as well to try to get technical assistance requests fulfilled. We are still working on processing your INTD. And of course, you heard Swick Nichols mention before, the Central States COMEX has been moved to Hot Springs, Arkansas. That is my report for the month, Chair Bischoff. I can go ahead and take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions regarding any of the materials that Chris presented? That brings us to old business. As Swick Nichols mentioned in her report, there is a new public comment page that we are utilizing. This is utilized by the state for, if not all, many of their public comment items, and all of our current policies are out there for approval from our May meeting that we push those out for 60-day comment. Those are all there. Feel free to comment. And it looks like there is some activity, at least on a couple of those documents. So Please feel free to comment. It makes the policies better for all. Are there any questions regarding the public comments page that we're now utilizing? That brings us to new business and the new Isicsb user approval. We have Midland Community School District at a level 2. Chair Vandewater.
Thank you. Following the recommendation of the Users Group Committee, I would make a motion to approve the new application for the Midland Community School District at a level 2.
Great, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Hold on a second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Bless you. Motion carries. That brings us to the ComU credentials, and I'll turn this over to Swig Nichols to present the certificates to those that are present.
Thanks very much, Chair Bischoff. So we have a group present today. As you can see, they're listed. All of these folks attended the Cooperative Burn Week and worked on their task books then, and were able to complete them, although many of them had other events that they had worked on prior to that. So we'll go in alphabetical order and start with Brenda Amber for her COM-L. Brenda was in attendance numerous days, and we are very grateful to have her. Congratulations. Okay, don't go too far because Brenda Amber also gets an INTD. She worked hard at the event. Thank you very much, Brenda. And now we have Ronald Clark. Ronald also came down to Los Hills, thank you, and he gets his INTD. And Christopher Martin. Christopher Martin worked on his COM-L. Able to complete that task book. Congratulations, Chris, and thank you. And Danielle Morrishead was there also. And Danielle, thank you. Congratulations, she got an INTD completed. And then Jessica Sinning from DPS gets her COM-L. She was able to attend a couple of days. Congratulations and thank you. Okay, very excited to have that many folks get their task books completed. There will be some more in the future because I think we had a total of 11 completed that day. So thank you very much for your hard work, and that's that portion of the meeting.
Congratulations to all.
Yes, congratulations to all. And thank you for your diligent work. And I'd also like to acknowledge the organizations that you supported you in allowing you to attend the trainings that you needed and allowing you to be here today to receive your certificates. So thank you. That brings us to our public comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Colby.
Second?
Vandewater.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all for your time and your dedication to interoperability communications in the state of Iowa.
Thank you.